Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I hope you had a very good lunch already. It's time to welcome our next speaker for this afternoon's first session. Our speaker, Johanna Poysa Tarhonen. Forgive me my pronunciation. I just learned it. Is a senior researcher at the Finnish Institute for Educational Research, University of Jyväskylä. Yeah. So please join me to welcome our speaker. Johanna, please.
Thank you. Firstly, I would like to thank APSEF for their kind invitation to serve as this thematic speaker in ICCE. It's really a great pleasure to be here in Manila. The collaborative component in CSCL has been my focus of interest already from my master thesis. So I have conducted research in diverse social formations, for example, from learning communities to teams, small groups, and dyads. First, I would like to tell a little bit where I come from. I work at the Finnish Institute for Educational Research, which is a multidisciplinary research institute located at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland. We are a separate institute, but our work is closely connected to the Faculty of Education and Psychology. And we have 4 separate research areas there at the institute. We have learning environments and assessment of learning outcomes, and we have higher education as pedagogical and societal phenomenon, and we also research education, working life, and lifelong guidance, and education, inclusion, and sustainable society. And in Finland, we are maybe most known as the home for the PISA studies in Finland. And Jyväskylä University is kind of is known especially for the educational sciences, and the groundwork for the Finnish educational system has been established in this university. Currently, I do research with a larger research network called Educa Flagship, which is funded by the Research Council of Finland, focusing on scalable digital technologies in learning and the school of the future. So our multidisciplinary team investigates the effects of the ongoing digital transformation in Finnish schools and society. So in the coming 8 years, we aim to model efficient and impactful ways of integrating technology into education. So a little bit overview of my speech. I will begin by revisiting the origins of computer-supported collaborative learning, or CSCL, highlighting its foundational pillars: technology, learning, and collaboration. These pillars do not only define the domain, but also serve as an integrated framework for understanding the interplay between technological tools, collaborative practices, and learning. So from these 3, I will focus more closely on collaboration as the substance of study. So alongside these foundations, I will address some contemporary challenges in CSCL research which push us to rethink the established methods and frameworks. I will speak about the role of educational dialogues in fostering understanding of collaboration within the CSCL environments in this regard. I will also delve into the collaboration as the substance of CSCL through two examples from the work we have done. Through these small case studies, I will illustrate how collaboration is studied in remote small group setting. And these examples will showcase the practical and theoretical insights gained from examining collaboration through borrowing from the area of social cognition and applying the theoretical lenses of joint attention and joint action in the context of CSCL. And I will also briefly explore how artificial intelligence is becoming an integral part of collaborative learning environments. So AI is not just a tool, but a collaborator itself, shaping interactions and transforming how we may design and implement CSCL systems. This development invites us to consider new paradigms for integrating AI into collaborative educational processes. So already from the 1990s, CSCL has transitioned from an emergent paradigm to an established field and a robust, multifaceted area of study with significant implications for education and technology. It is characterized by its integration of collaboration, shared task, and technology. And the objects of study evolves alongside the society and technologies, and it is widely recognized that such changes have accelerated. Theoretical diversity also remains a hallmark of CSCL, reflecting its interdisciplinary roots. This foundational understanding sets the stage for exploring how collaboration drives learning and the role of technology in shaping this dynamic. And each of these elements are interdependent, so with changes in one influencing the others. In CSCL, transformations in technology have redefined the role of computers, with technological advances enabling new ways of support and analyze collaborative learning. And learning is conceptualized from individual knowledge acquisition to collective knowledge co-construction, with a research emphasis from learning outcomes to collaborative learning processes. Informed by multiple disciplines, collaboration spans small group interactions, large social networks, and communities involving non-human agents like AI, which is increasingly shaping collaborative learning. Together, these three pillars provide a comprehensive framework for studying and advancing their interplay. And this allows us to design better tools, fostering meaningful interactions and enhance collaborative learning experiences. So collaboration lies at the heart of CSCL. Along the technological transformations, the question of what qualifies collaboration remains central. When we speak about collaboration, we are referring to individuals or groups working together to achieve shared goals, exchanging ideas, and contributing towards a common objective or joint purpose. Collaboration can take many forms and happen in diverse contexts, but some qualities remain constant. It's active, it's intentional, and it's shared. Effective collaboration requires clear communication and active participation, ensuring that each member's contribution is meaningful. The concept of collaboration must be continually reconsidered across sites, various timescales, from small groups to collective activity. Despite extensive research, what underlies successful collaboration remains a challenge. As one example, we can observe a widening gap in CSCL between theories and data. Progress in instrumentation has enabled the capture of collaboration with unprecedented scope, scale, and granularity. Data also becomes big when interactions between a small number of participants is captured in detail across multiple modalities. In addition, many existing psychological theories are not designed for this type of data in mind. This leads to the question of how such data can best inform theories of collaboration and learning. And there might be a danger of overlooking the situated nature of cognition here. In this regard, there is a need to integrate automated analysis with human analysis. So how to overcome these challenges? In CSCL, where the design and analysis of learning settings are central, studying the quality of educational dialogues is fundamental to understanding collaboration. In evolving collaborative situations without common ground, dialogue becomes essential for joint work and learning. The CSCL context is uniquely suited to studying education and dialogues due to the diverse levels of data it enables, ranging from detailed behavior traces such as eye tracking and physiological data to exchange messages and the capacity for observing dialogues over extended timescales and across diverse contexts. However, a key question arises: how can these varied datasets spanning multiple timescales and combining both automated and human analysis be meaningfully integrated? Addressing this question, a more broader theorization of educational dialogues in CSCL have been addressed. What would then mean a broader focus on educational dialogues? In CSCL, almost all research aims to improve understanding of the quality of educational dialogues. Education and dialogue can be understood in two distinct ways: as an empirical communicative exchange rooted in the present moment, or as an aspirational goal, an abstract ideal that shapes pedagogical practices. So in this concept, the primary focus of analysis is the development of collective thinking, which occurs in and through dialogue. And unlike approaches that emphasize individual speech acts or behaviors, this perspective shifts the emphasis to exchanges as the core unit of analysis. This approach rejects the notion of dialogue as merely a window on the mind, where speech reveals individual thoughts. Instead, it recognizes that learner thoughts are always contextually situated, shaped by the immediate environment and social interactions. Next, I will discuss two case examples from our work in a collaborative component. In these examples, to gain a deeper understanding of the social components, more specifically in remote collaborative problem-solving context, we have borrowed theoretical constructs from the social cognition research and focusing on joint attention behavior and joint action, especially focusing on the commitment to collaboration during CPS. We have also integrated various types of data and analysis through data and method triangulation. Furthermore, we have also re-examined the object of study and the unit of analysis within this context of the selected theoretical constructs. These examples are one part of our previous project, Collaborative Problem Solving and Online Inquiry, Skills, Processes and Neural Bases, funded by the Research Council of Finland. And we conducted this project together with the Department of Psychology of the University of Jyväskylä. So the project aimed to provide new knowledge and explain differences in CPS and online inquiry skills, as well as their underlying processes. The project applied research methods at multiple levels of explanation, from large-scale assessment study at classroom level to dual eye tracking and neurocognitive studies. So in the examples, I will focus on CPS, a specific form of collaboration. So the definitions of CPS often emphasize that there is a group goal that needs to be accomplished through problem solving, and that a single individual cannot solve the problem alone or is much less prepared to do so. The cognitive domain of CPS is well understood and is grounded in the individual problem-solving approaches. However, the social domain is inherently more complex, as it revolves around dynamic social interactions and group processes, making it significantly harder to capture and analyze. So this leads to a critical question: how can we effectively unveil and address the complexities of the social domain in CPS? The context of case studies is grounded within digital CPS environment based on human approaches designed to teach and assess CPS skills. In the environment, students work in dyads, interacting remotely via free-form chat interface to solve open-ended problems and impersonal goals. The tasks are constructed with an asymmetry of resources, which create a need for collaboration. This asymmetry requires participants to pool their knowledge, information, and resources to achieve a joint solution. So the case one is aimed to unveil the complex social domain of CPS by relying on the concept of joint attention behavior. It is seen promising theoretical lens for revealing social aspects of CPS. Joint attention is a foundational position of any social interaction. It is also closely associated with productive CPS. So if joint attention is not achieved, it is less likely for the partners to establish common ground, take the partners' perspectives, and build on ideas to solve problems together. What do we mean with joint attention? See here as a capacity to focus together with another on an external source or object in the environment. The object of attention can be observed two levels, and as external sources or events or mental internal contents. So objects can be diverse sensory inputs, visual or auditory, or they can be present, past, future events, or even mental states like ideas and plans. This definition extends the concept beyond the joint visual attention. In this study, joint attention is not seen as a singular state, but rather as a sliding scale of varying intensities. These degrees connect diverse experiences of joint attention, all commonly referred to as joint attention in the literature. So the framework identifies 4 levels of attention experiences, from monitoring to common to mutual and shared. Each level incorporates the triadic relationship between self, other, and object of attention. What are the behavioral indicators of joint attention in this context, and how to capture them? Case following is a promising basis for understanding joint attention. The coupling of eye gazing serves as a proxy for lower attentional levels and may also indicate higher attentional levels, such as mutual and shared attention. So to understand gaze alignment, this requires to extract measures of how partners focus on a common reference while working on a shared CPS task. In CPS communication, plays a significant role as well in establishing jointers, so highlighting the importance of analyzing education dialogues through indicators of higher attentional levels. A question arises how we can make a meaningful link between ICCE data and the specific higher order construct of the joint attention. So in this study, we were interested what is the strength of the coupling of eye-gazing during the CPS task completion, and what is the meaning and relevance of the measures of eye-gazing regarding the actualized level of joint attention behavior in dyadic interaction. Thus, the strength of the eye-gaze coupling was seen as a quantitative indicator where to look for theory-driven qualitative analysis. So what kind of data we used? We had the data was collected in dual eye tracking situation in cognitive labs. We used screen-based eye trackers for the data collection. So we had fixation data, and we had log files from the CPS environment. Then we had scan path video exports that visually illustrate each participant's gaze trajectory over time. So here is example from the environment of the scan path video and what it shows to you. So the gaze fixation are the time periods when the eyes maintain gaze in a single location and allow seeing which part of the screen the participant looks at and how long. In scan path visualization, the gaze positions and eye events are plotted on a stimulus video. So the methods of analysis and how they were combined. So we use cross-recurrence quantification analysis to analyze the strength of the eye-gaze coupling, and we had the recurrence rate as the central measure, which is a general measure that quantifies the strength of coupling between two dynamic systems. So to analyze the meaning and relevance of these measures regarding actualized levels of joint attention, students' communicational exchanges during CPS processes was analyzed qualitatively. So to conclude, recurrent rate served as a basis for selecting dyads for qualitative analysis of interaction. Here we have an example of the cross-recurrence quantification results. Although the variables can be distinct, the measures are largely interrelated and depended on the recurrence rate. So that's why it was chosen as a central measure. So relatively high recurrence rate indicates that many individual instances are recurrent. So also in relation to the theoretical construct of joint attention and the data with a high level of granularity, this level of understanding of the gaze behavior was deemed sufficient here. And here is an example of the qualitative analysis, and based on the highest recurrent measures, high quality joint attention was identified in the selected dyads, sliding from mutual to shared attention experience during CPS. So these experts represent the highest joint attention level, shared attention. And in the expert, the discussion continues bidirectionally as the participants explore each other's views and access to the manipulatives of the task. So to conclude, joint attention behavior was a promising conceptual lens to which better understand the social domain of CPS. However, the further distinction between different levels of joint attention behavior, it was critical to understand the actual quality of CPS. So the analysis demonstrated the value of cross-recurrent quantification analysis in identifying social behavior during CPS. All the selected diets with high recurrent values showed second-person relations during CPS task completion, and the case data clarified the understanding of CPS by affording additional evidence beyond the actual interactional events visible in the log file. So the case data made invisible moments visible during CPS. And when we think of the possible meaningful link between the different types of data and the method of analysis, so we think that the quantitative measures made possible to zoom into the complex phenomena of joint attention, but the qualitative phase was significant for contextualizing these quantitative findings. So the case 2, commitment to collaboration in CPS. So in CPS, to be successful, participants need to intentionally organize themselves to a coordinated activity. And CPS requires not only to share and process information to solve the joint task, but it also shows responsiveness and commitment to their partners. Commitments can manifest in two distinct forms, as explicit and implicit commitments. So explicit commitments arise through direct communication, such as speech acts involving promises or agreements. For example, if one social partner intentionally communicates to another that he aims to do X and the other acknowledges this, then they have a common knowledge about this interaction, that the first partner is committed to do X. In contrast, implicit commitments are more suitable and more subtle and arise via expectation and motivation, like slight nuances of verbal communication and even non-verbally. So for this context of study, a minimal structure of commitment was chosen as a conceptual one at Poysa. So this refers to a situation where exists an outcome or goal of action that an actor needs to achieve, and where the external contribution of a second actor is crucial to bringing about the goal. So this situation may elicit a sense of commitment on the part of one or two actors, or when both actors desire to reach the goal, the commitment is mutual. Here, the critical for commitment to arise is the goal of that the goal of action is defined primarily in an agent-neutral manner. So how does the digital CPS environment fulfill the conditions for a minimal structure of commitment? In the environment, diets interact remotely to solve shared open-ended problems with impersonal goals. The task implement an overall structure of asymmetry of resources. They impose need for collaboration and require participants to pool their knowledge, information, and resources. Each individual action is also only effective if the other action is also performed. So to successfully solve a task requires both the participants' commitment to the task and also commitment to their partner. So in this study, the objectives in this study we asked how commitments and successful CPS processes come together in remote dyadic interaction, and how these interactional events of the log files are related to each other in terms of the speech acts of promising and making agreements. And we were also interested in the appearance of the task-specific CPS elements in these events and their significance in this regard. So in this study, the data collection situation was similar to the previous case study, although the participants were university students. So we collected objective measures that were derived from the data embedded in automatically generated log files. And we had subjective measures that were collected through acute retrospective reporting interviews, where participants were shown a stimulus video to reflect on their experiences during CPS. The analysis involved multiple phases, and this included identifying explicit commitments in student exchanges in log files and explicit and implicit commitments in the interview data and the CPS process qualities as well. So from these data, episodes of the CPS processes were constructed and providing a structured view of how commitment manifested or did not in collaborative problem-solving interactions. So I will highlight a specific case from the results to illustrate the findings. In this case, the quality of various aspects of CPS interaction come together in two contrasting solution paths, which we have named the low coordination condition and high coordination condition of CPS. These cases also revealed substantial differences regarding quality of actualization of CPS processes concerning the aspect of analysis. And this comparison nicely underscores the diverse dynamics and the quality that can emerge in open collaborative problem-solving scenarios. So in the low coordination condition, Diat set out plans for solving the task, but did not systematically coordinate the actions in accordance with the plan. So explicit commitments were not made or were missing totally. Whereas in the high coordination condition, Diat demonstrated constant interaction by sharing information to build a mutual understanding of the problem space. They set out a plan and proceed systematically with the trials. They made explicit mutual commitments to coordinate their actions, and the interviews also provided additional insights into the agreements between partners and how they expressed trust in one another. So in sum, the students demonstrated predominantly explicit commitments to their partner. To conclude, when performing joint actions together, which not only involves short-term temporal and precise action coordination, like playing piano duet together, but requires more long-term thinking and communication about the joint activity, the role of language, intentionality, and commitment becomes crucial. This is especially critical when the participants are not aware of the details of the other participants' actions, or they are separated in time or space from their partners, like is the case in this study. So processes related to successful CPS, such as continuous and conjoint effort towards elaborating a joint problem space and expressions of shared intentions, can be vulnerable and uncertain, as also recognized here. So commitments, if credible, can reduce the uncertainties related to the fulfillment of joint goals and facilitating the planning and coordination of joint actions. And when we look at the connection between theory and data here, we experience problems with sensitivity of different methods and data sources in understanding the theoretical construct fully. So to reach a better understanding, for example, from the implicit commitments, intra-individual measures would be needed. And lastly, I will talk about briefly AR. This maybe reminds me from the opportunity slide of the keynote speak today. So this is more like future-oriented, speculative thinking based on sort of conceptual work I'm doing. So I will highlight some aspects of this ongoing study where the focus is on human-non-human collaboration. So as we all have witnessed, that generative AI tools such as ChatGPT have gained significant attention and are widely used in education and society. And when considering collaboration with AI, It is important to think how generative AI tools can be utilized by users for knowledge co-construction to inspire a collective endeavor in developing new insights. And even though generative AI tools lack conceptual understanding, it is expected here that argumentative dialogues between humans and AI tools with appropriate prompts can foster emergent processes of joint knowledge co-construction. However, we need a better understanding, both theoretically and empirically, of the contribution of both human and AI non-human participants in collaboration. Whereas the cognitive benefits of conversational AI are already documented, a deeper understanding of the social dimensions is needed, for example, in dyadic interaction in this regard. So to advance this area, the recent works from the field of human-computer interaction with this long-standing tradition in usability study might be useful. When considering human-AI collaboration as decentering the human, we challenge the traditional human-centered perspective of collaboration and emphasize the dynamic interplay between humans and AI systems. So what does collaboration mean in this context? In this approach, AI is not merely a tool, but an active collaborator. Collaboration can be defined as a dynamic interplay between human learners and non-human actors, technology to co-create understanding and collaboratively solve problems. Human actors influence these processes, but so do the non-human actors by providing interactive feedback. So to better understand the human-non-human collaboration, I've taken a post-human theoretical lens that extends from humans to non-humans and more than humans in the world. So it moves beyond the conventional concerns with users and products towards an understanding of relations and ecologies. This shift challenges traditional conceptions of the relationship between human and non-human actors by recognizing their entangled agency, which is also seen significant in productive collaborative interactions within conventional learning settings. So in my final slide, I have only questions. There are challenges in design. There are challenges in bridging theory and practice in this area. So this perspective of decentering human recognizes multiple voices and advocates the inclusion of non-human agents in the design processes. However, achieving this remains highly challenging, particularly due to the inherent complexity of bridging the considerable gap existing between theory and practice, requiring contextualizing this approach. So it requires careful consideration how it could be applied both theoretically and methodologically in the context of CSCL. Thank you.
I think we may have time for just one or two questions. Yeah, do you have any questions?
It's okay.
Okay, yes, thanks for the very insightful sharing, Dr. Johanna. When you define the CSCL, define the collaboration, I think one key concept is the shared goal, shared tasks. But when humans and AI collaborate, and I think so far we consider that AI does not have consciousness, AI does not have its own agency. Then do humans and AI have the shared goals, or the goals actually are defined by humans? In this context, should we say like human AI collaboration? Can we use the term collaboration? Because, yeah, I use it as well, but just now I realized that humans and AI may not have the shared goals when AI does not have consciousness.
Yeah, and I think that's what they, in the post-human thinking, kind of want to theorize, that it's to extend our, like I said, there's a really big gap between the theory here and the empirical, but there's a lot of research going on with this kind of how will, for example, with certain prompting to make this kind of relationship more real. So I think, but this is something that is not has. I think it's the future line of the research here in this area, and there's a lot of research done in the human-computer interaction at the moment in this kind of theory, that they are theoretical approaches, which is quite, I think, a bit been also with some artifacts that have like, for example, watches and other things, but it's more like I think it's from their tradition as a human-computer interaction field. But I think we need to reconceptualize in terms of learning. It's a bit different.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Gaoxia, for your interesting question. And please join me to thank Johanna. She provided us a very comprehensive and insightful talk. Yeah. Please allow me to present the souvenir to our speaker.